Welcome back. You're watching Live in Paris on France 24. It's time for Media Watch with James Creedon. Hello there, James.
Good evening.
Now, of course, Charlie Hebdo has done pretty well today. It's sold out, I believe,
That's right.
because it put some caricatures, some cartoons, some saying rather ill-advised cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad at a week when 30 people have been killed in protests around the world because of a badly made film on YouTube. So it goes on.
Yes, it pays to be controversial, it seems to be the message in this particular case. Let's take a look at some of the coverage on the French web about this story. Caricature de Mahomed, the Mohammed cartoons. Charlie Hebdo sold out, will be in the news kiosks again on Friday. That's their headline. And one person tweeting on that saying that actually one newspaper vendor in Belleville said that actually his issues of Charlie Hebdo were sold out because people bought them to destroy them. So that's in one neighbourhood where there is a high Muslim population, so I think that might explain that. But yeah, look, it's obviously done pretty well economically out of that. Another tweet on this: thanks to Charlie Hebdo for having the courage to defend fundamental rights such as buzz and marketing. So somebody being a little bit facetious there, saying that they're taking the high moral ground here about freedom of speech and all that, but really what it comes down to is marketing, buzz,
it sells
and
more
sales.
Papers than Kate Middleton's nudie shots.
That's
doesn't it?
right. Absolutely. It sold out even faster. Now, this is one of their editorial bosses here talking to various media. It was one of the top stories on BuzzFeed, an American website, this afternoon. And his whole thing is, look, this is our bread and butter. This is what we do. We do caricatures. We do cartoons. The big story this week was Muhammad. So what are we meant to do? Just, leave our pens down? Well, perhaps, actually, that might be the answer. But in any case...
That's what the government would have liked them to do, because now taxpayers are paying for riot police to be stationed outside their offices because they were firebombed last year for a similar cartoon.
And what this guy here is saying is, we learned our lesson from November of last year because we didn't put the extremely compromising cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad in various states of undress. We didn't put it on the front page. We put it inside. Well, isn't that great? Thanks very much for that. I'm not sure that's really what the best solution would have been. But in any case, you can tell where I stand on this. But I'm not certainly I don't represent everybody's point of view. Charlie Hebdo, no, the press should not take context into account. That is the headline in L'Express by Christophe Barbier, who is a well-known journalist and commentator here in France. He basically says it's freedom of speech above all else. The context doesn't really matter here, and we should all be united against Islamic fundamentalists. Not really sure that's what the issue is here, because it's not all about Islamic fundamentalists. It's about putting a very provocative cartoon out at a very sensitive moment. I think that's what it comes down to.
All right, so that's his opinion. All right, let's move on to the next one then. A video game doing the rounds on the internet, which is mocking the US election.
All right, let's roll some of these pictures. It's called The Patriot Game, and it's sort of using 1980s video graphics to illustrate a duel, right? And the idea is that they're trying to vie with each other, and you use as many good sayings as you can for succeed, right? So it's actually very well done. It's very well spliced up. It's a sort of a musical mashup using video game graphics, and you can see really how similar the rhetoric is, left and right. They might be differing in terms of their policies, but actually the rhetorical form seems to be the same. Let's take a listen to an extract where the wives are drafted in, and this in a bid to deflect allegations of privilege. It's round 3 of this video game. Let's take a listen.
To a basement apartment. His proudest possession was a coffee table he found in a dumpster. Our desk was a door propped up on sawhorses, sweet tuna fish. His only pair of decent shoes was a half size too small. Our dining room table was a fold-down ironing board in the kitchen. His car was so rusted out I could see the pavement.
Oh, that is really well done.
There you go.
I like
it's
that
sort of a dancey little number, isn't it?
What's it called?
It's called Patriot Game.
Patriot Game, there
and
you go.
And you can get it on the New York
that.
Times website, or
Good
just
stuff.
Google it.
All right, much more fun than what's going on in France at the moment,
Definitely.
as we said. All right, but there's another story that's very big here in France today. GM Foods, very controversial already here in France. In fact, there's a temporary ban on them.
That's right.
But one scientist says he's found a link between them and cancer.
That's right. Now this was done by university, a microbiologist at the University of Caen in Normandy. That's right. 2-year study on rats, and the results were pretty negative.
There's some really gruesome pictures in that
That's
magazine.
right. So in any case, they claim that this could be the end of GM foods, even though they're not really that readily available already in France. And there's going to be a lot of lobbying of European structures, etc., to ban them definitively after this study. So I know it's your focus later on, so I won't eat up any more of that.
Please, go ahead. I was just going to say, France has ordered a probe into the safety of GM foods. But as I say, people are already eating them in Brazil, the United States, China. But
so whether it's bad for rats, is it as bad for humans? I suppose we'll have to wait and see.
You'll have to wait and see and watch Focus at 9:15 Paris time. All right, little plug now.
Focus.
Now, moving on, death by tweeting.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's a bit ominous, isn't it? But the story here is, it was on, I spotted this story on Time newsfeed today, and it's a bit macabre, right? Now, the guy is a name by Irvin McInnes, and he was an aspiring rapper, and he was tweeting when he was drunk in his car, and he tweeted, drunk going 120 drifting corners, YOLO, which is you only live once, and he tweeted again saying, driving, tweeting, sipping the cup, I'm turning it up, and unfortunately
he didn't live for
that
very
was the
long,
last we heard of him, right? Because he died as a result.
Oh, dear.
And there was a similar story a couple of years ago where this famous plastic surgeon in Malibu was tweeting a photo of his dog
while he was driving a car.
While he was driving a car, and he posted the photo of his border collie Jill when he lost control of the car, and it was successfully posted, but actually he
the tweet made
drove
it, he
off
didn't.
a cliff,
Oh my goodness.
but the dog survived. The
Don't
dog was in the
tweet
car.
while driving is the moral there. All right.
Can I show you one last photo?
One last picture.
Now, we've been talking about Kate and those nudie photos and topless photos. This was doing the rounds of social media today, and I just thought it was very, very good. France bringing you topless royals since 1793.
Topless royals with a picture of the guillotine.
So I'm sorry if there was a bit of a death theme to the last three stories there.
Ending on a gruesome note, James
Sorry.
Cleveland. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Laura.
All right, we've got more treats from the internet for you now. It's time for web news.
Go.
Today on the net, searching for missing persons in Syria. Kenyan web users come to the rescue of a former female boxing champ. And Facebook is mapping the world's friendships. According to this Facebook post, Mohammed Ahmed Kwalani was last seen on September 12th in Dereya, just outside of Damascus. A missing persons notice has been issued via this group, which has been set up on the social network to help families track down loved ones who have disappeared. Kidnappings have been on the rise across Syria, which has been rocked by unrest for over a year and a half now and descended into chaos. Abductions carried out both by forces loyal to Bashar al-Assad and rebels from the Free Syrian Army, for political reasons and also for financial gain. A Syrian man living in the United States has written an article on the Middle East Voices website explaining 3 members of his family were taken from the suburbs of Damascus last month by pro-government militiamen. The activist, who's living in exile and wishes to remain anonymous, says these kidnappings were carried out to punish him for the anti-Syrian regime stance he's taken in American media. Rebels have also apparently resorted to abducting civilians. This video appears to show soldiers from the Free Syrian Army holding a boy thought to be from a loyalist family. The NGO Human Rights Watch has condemned these practices and reports that kidnappers often ask for ransom money or weapons in exchange for hostages. The organisation also states that abductors often claim to be rebels, but are in fact from criminal gangs, using the situation to their advantage to make some money. When this video featuring former female boxing champion Conjestina Achieng was aired on Kenyan television channel Kiss TV at the beginning of September, it triggered an outpouring of emotion. The journalist who went to meet the athlete explains that she's suffering from mental illness and is living in extremely precarious conditions with no financial help from the state. The revelations have been met with lively reaction online. Many social networkers moved by the former champ's story have launched appeals asking fellow citizens to, amongst other things, make financial donations to help her pay for the correct medical treatment and improve her living conditions. A site has also been set up with this very same aim, and reports that so far Kenyan web users have managed to raise over 130,000 Kenyan shillings, that's around 1,200 euros. This may not seem like very much, but as some of the Twitter users involved in her move on Tuesday have explained, it was enough to get her out of her unsanitary housing and into new lodgings. As the author of the Kenya Sport blog tells us, this story has a happy ending, but sadly it's not an isolated case. He says many of Kenya's top athletes lead very difficult lives once their sporting careers are over, and the authorities offer them no practical help. The blogger concludes by asking his fellow citizens to be more sensitive to these athletes' needs and do what they can to ensure they're not forgotten once they retire from sport. Belgians and Moroccans are the French's best Facebook friends, and Americans have more friends in Mexico than in Canada. The famous social network has taken data from its 900 million members across the globe and used it to develop this interactive map highlighting the world's friendships. Friendships that can be explained both by geographical proximity but also by cultural and historical ties. New Twitter. Twitter has been given a new look which was unveiled on Tuesday, a version that means users can give their profiles a more personal touch. Some have greeted the microblogging site's makeover with glee, but others are less enthusiastic, saying they don't like the new design or that it's too much like Facebook and lacking in originality. This summer's mega hit and viral sensation Gangnam Style by Korean singer Psy continues to inspire web users the world over. Countless spoofs have emerged online in recent months recreating Psy's now famous dance moves. The latest video comes from a group of students from the US Naval Academy, a group that illustrates once again the importance of not taking oneself too seriously.